Regarding feet, veterans can face many issues due to their service. We would like to have a series about different feet conditions linked to our military service. But for now, we're going to talk about one of the big ones that we can turn into a service-connected claim. Let's get into it.
Whiskey 9 Yankee 7 November Golf, over.
So we are talking about flat feet specifically. Let's go ahead and kick things off and have a clear definition of what flat feet is. Flat feet occurs when there is little to no arch in your feet, causing the entire sole to touch the ground when standing or walking. It's often painless initially, but can become very painful due to factors like overuse, obesity, running too much, military service, and inadequate footwear. So those endless amounts of boots that you have in your closet, those can definitely be a contributing factor to flat feet. Here's one that not many people actually talk about. Some veterans might have even come into the service with flat feet from the get-go. This is actually known as pre-service disability. When that increase of military personnel came through during the surge, a lot of people just got let in with flat feet. We'll talk about how you can still get flat feet as a condition if you're one of those few. I will tell you that flat feet for veterans is a hard one. It's actually a very common issue, especially among those who have served for a long time in the military. The condition can lead to problems in the ankles, the knees, the hip, the back, disrupting the alignment of the legs. This is why this specific condition is such an impactful one if you were to get service connected, because it has a myriad of secondaries, because flat feet just drastically deteriorates the body. Now let's go ahead and talk about how VA flat feet rating system and how they do it. To qualify for VA rating, you need to meet specific criteria. Now, I know at this point, and I've made a lot of videos at this point, you guys might be tired of me saying this, but there's those three things: that in-service event, that current medical diagnosis, and that nexus. We need those three things to really make sure that we're getting service-connected claims, or else the VA is just going to deny whatever claim we put up. Going with the assumption that you know what the in-service event is, and you generally know what the nexus is. Let's talk about the biggest thing for vets on flat feet, and that is the current diagnosis. If you suspect you have flat feet but lack that medical diagnosis, you need to contact the VA facility for an appointment. More specifically, you need to request a specialist, a podiatrist, a specialist in foot and ankle disorders, and they can provide the necessary diagnosis and guidance for your next step. I will tell you, I myself have flat feet, and I myself went to a podiatrist. Most of the time, what they're going to do is first, they're going to examine your feet with their hands, maybe do a standing test, a weight bearing test, a wet test, or a clear surface test. All of these tests will show how much of your sole is actually touching the ground. For me, I am 100% flat foot, full on surface, everything is touching. So there was no mistake for me. With that being said, you can obtain a flat feet VA rating through three primary avenues. The first avenue is direct service connection. You can get a rating for flat feet ranging from 0 to 50% depending on the severity. That is just full on, I have flat feet, you recognize I have flat feet, it is connected to my service, therefore here are my severities to my flat feet, which we'll go over the severities a little bit later. The next method is a secondary connection, which involves getting a rating for flat feet linked to another service-connected disability. For example, you can be rated for flat feet secondary to an ankle pain or your Achilles tendon pain or other myriad of things out there. I will tell you, however, the secondary route is a little bit harder. Most podiatrists will tell you there are a lot of secondaries to flat feet, but not a lot of flat feet secondaries out there, meaning my ankle pain or my ankle condition caused my flat feet. So just be aware of this and know that if you are going to try to go the secondary route, it is very, very hard to do so. Lastly, for the guys who came into service with mild flat feet, you have the aggravation or pre-service disability route. If you came into the military and you have flat feet and your military service aggravated your flat feet beyond the natural progression, you can be rated for flat feet due to this aggravation. Again, this is one that the VA just fights tooth and nail over. Their argument is they cannot adequately decipher between natural progression and aggravation from military service. So you have to be very, very, very detailed with the symptoms, the severity of those symptoms, and your pre and post affliction of your military service, and be able to really have a good nexus associated with your flat feet. If you don't have these, it will be an uphill battle for the VA to get the VA to approve your flat feet aggravation claim. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump over to the 38 CFR and look at the severities and the ratings associated with each severity. So for the 38 CFR, they have 4 different types of severities with about 6 different ratings associated with those. So we have mild, moderate, severe, and pronounced. Now, each of those ratings come with bilateral or unilateral, one side or both sides being rated at the same. So for mild, it is 0%. For moderate, it is 10, but that 10 can go into severe with a unilateral of 20 and a bilateral of 30. That severe is really talking about the deformity section of your flat feet. I'll put up a picture here to show you what a deformity looks like for flat feet. It's really talking about the weight-bearing line over the great toe and the inward bowing that causes acute pain to the Achilles tendon. And this is what that looked like. And then we have pronounced. Now, pronounced is basically all the things from severe, but you have severe spasming, you have pain on manipulation, and it does not get improved by orthopedics or even surgery. And those readings are bilateral at 50 and unilateral at 30. Okay, so that's about it for flat feet. Now, flat feet can definitely cause vets heartache and pain, more so foot pain. And it is a very, very hard one to get. But once you get it, it kind of opens the door for a lot of different things when you're talking about the lower body and even some of the upper body secondary conditions. I would tell you the biggest thing for flat feet, well, really with all ratings or all conditions, is evidence. But really, really pointed evidence. You really want to highlight the symptoms associated with 38 CFR and really make sure that you have doctor's notes within, really talking about what you're going on with, especially if you're talking about the aggravation route. Aggravation route is going to be really, really hard, and you really need to come up with a lot of information. Make sure that they're seeing that you're having orthopedics, that you have those insoles in your shoes, that you're having the pain associated with walking, doing any other exercises like running, jumping, etc., etc. All right, so that's about it. If you find this information valuable, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to more content related to VA claims and to other veteran-related topics. As always, this is Jay with TheCivDiv. Stay strong, stay resilient, and I'll see you next time.